Hi guys, welcome to the Kind of Work Sofa series.
Within this series, we're going to be having some real, honest and raw conversations.
And that starts today when we talk behind the scenes to some of our team at KVA about the difference that a positive and motivating environment can bring.
So to kick it all off, please welcome the incredible Hannah Ridgely.
Woo! Welcome, Hannah.
Hi guys.
Do you like our set?
Love it. It's gorgeous.
What's the best bit?
I think this little light.
Aww. Well, it's very topical with the word kind in the middle.
It is.
So we were talking earlier about the difference that an environment makes in the workplace, and we were talking about you can take the same person and you can have them in multiple different types of environments, and yet they perform and feel completely different. Do you want to kind of start by sharing some of your experiences that you've had and how that shaped you as a person?
Definitely. So I started at KVA a couple of years ago now, 2.5 years. And I think when I first started, it was really apparent how my mindset was completely different to the kind of open collaborative culture that we have at KVA. And from previous experience, it just screams like how you're influenced by your job without even realizing, like how you act, how you react to stuff, how you're treated by other people. And I think most people think work is just work and then you go home and you just get on with your life, whereas work influences every part of your life, doesn't it? Like it impacts you. You spend so much time at work with the people that you work with. So it was really apparent to me that the people I was working with weren't bringing the best out of me or, nurturing me and giving me that confidence to be the best version of myself. And I think when I came to KVA, it took a good while to kind of almost like relax into like the culture and get used to it. And when other people have joined, it's also apparent how it's so ingrained in you that the impact of other people and just them not being kind to you in general, just as a passing comment. But there's so many specifics, but it's mad how being in a collaborative and open working environment, working as one team without any hierarchy, can just completely change how you feel about work and like forming real friendships as well. Because before, like I had friendships, but you wouldn't really feel like you could 100% trust people, and it makes so much difference working with people that you can actually call your friends. And yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. And what you said about the friendships is so important, because it's really about bringing the real you to the workplace. I think so often people feel like they have to be a certain version of themselves or have this professional persona in the workplace and act a certain way to be perceived a certain way. Whereas when you actually learn, oh no, it is okay to be who I really am, feel comfortable in my own skin, it then enables you to just flourish in this environment. And that's so evident in yourself. Like you drive the most amazing culture within KVA and really are like a leading force for positivity and have that impact on so many other people in the company that without that environment, I guess that's a lot harder to have the same positive impact on others.
Definitely, and it's just ingrained in everything we do, isn't it? Like, literally, it comes from you and Kelly. Like, it's ingrained in you, and you're like ingraining it in us as well. And that ingrains in our families, our friends, like what we do in the evenings, at the weekends. Like, and it's not. I don't feel like I have to like shut off work and then that's it. I've parked it until next week or whatever. It's not work. It's a family.
Yeah, exactly. I read a really interesting blog post recently that was talking about should an employer be friends with an employee? Like, where do you draw the line? And it was all about drawing a line. And to me, that just seems so archaic and outdated that you can't have friendships because actually you're working as a team and there's no reason that those people aren't going to become really good friends as well. And you work together and you don't have that division of an employer and an employee. To us, it's just a united team, isn't it? Everyone's working together for one goal and one purpose.
Exactly. And we know that like we could come to either of you at any time. Like when we're in the office, like everyone's all in one space. Like there's never any silly questions or silly ideas. Everyone's always open. So yeah, it's really, really nice culture.
Definitely. I think it's just doing things not the same for the sake of it. Like, it's so, as you said, archaic that there's this division that you can't have friends at work and you can't be your true self. But if you actually stop for a minute and think, why? Like, what is the point of that? What's the value add? Why is everyone pretending to be a different person? It's completely pointless and actually has no benefit. And what a waste of energy pretending to be a different version of yourself and holding back. Like, no one can do their best work in that environment.
I think it brings on massive anxiety as well, because you almost have these two versions of yourself and you need to conform and you need to be in a box and you need to remember to do that. Whereas if you're just yourself, like, it's just life, isn't it? It's
screw
just
the box, life. Break free.
Yeah, screw the box. Love that.
Yeah. It's kind of taking out the rule book, I guess, of what it makes to be a professional. We've been in meetings before. I know. Do you remember we were in a meeting somewhere and you had, I think it was kind of early days, and we'd gone to a corporate client and you had your phone with a pink glitter case,
yeah.
and you were just about to take it off before we went into the meeting, and
you were like, hold on, don't take it off, be yourself.
Take that off. We can just be ourselves, and that's part of it, is just embracing who we all are as individuals, because everyone is an individual and everyone's different. Everyone has different needs and different personalities, and it's about how we embrace those things and we let them shine.
Exactly. I think that's even reflected in our branding. Like you saying you're going to take off a pink sparkly case. Here we are, like hot pink is our colour. This is not like when we're talking about pharmaceutical marketing agencies, like that is not what you think. You don't think pink sparkly, but like it's us. So
it's about breaking the stereotype. And that's something I'm so passionate about, that, just because we're female or because, I'm relatively young or have a pink sparkly phone case doesn't mean you can't deliver exceptional results and break the mold and deliver insane work that's cutting edge and ahead of its time. And it's going through that cycle of proving it. And okay, yes, we might be different, but trust us, we know our stuff, let us deliver it for you, and then we do show the results. And then it's just continuously breaking that cycle and the circle that everyone needs to be the same, whereas you really don't.
It's just showing the passion, isn't it? Like, it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, where you come from, what you look like. None of that matters, as long as you've got the skills and you're passionate about what you're doing. And like looking back to like previous experience, like it shows that previous colleagues and like senior people in companies haven't been happy in themselves, because that is then influencing how they're reacting to you and like potentially passing on their stresses to you, even though it's their thing. And like if they were happy in what they were doing, then they would be treating you in a happier, nicer way as well. So I think it comes all the way, even though it should be flat and not this way, it filters down, doesn't it? From
such a good point.
Absolutely. So talk to us about a kind of previous experience that you've had with a line manager that you've kind of learnt from, or I guess where you would go back to yourself 5 years ago and say, I would do that very differently now.
Yeah, I think, I was kind of in a place where like I was doing really well at my job, and I had a line manager who didn't recognise that, or if they did, they didn't outwardly recognise it. And I had a lot of kind of frustrations passed down to me, whereas I think they potentially weren't doing their best in their role. So it was kind of like, oh, it must be because Hannah's not doing well in her role, whereas actually two very different things. And yeah, I just think the recognition that you don't get from that situation is so damaging.
Yeah.
And for you, like talking about like recognition in terms of, progressing up in your career, like promotions and things, being able, like recognizing in yourself, okay, I've been here X amount of years, I'm delivering against this job title, I think I'm ready for the next level. And for your line manager to not get that is like really confusing. And then you start doubting yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've been in situations where I've had to prove that I'm worthy of this next step up, and had to put presentations together to present to like the senior board as to why I should get this promotion or whatever it was. And it's just so demoralising. Like, you can do it. You're doing the job already, and you're having to fight for that recognition. And it just makes you feel devalued. And that's not the way to get the best out of people.
It's almost like it should be the other way around, that it would be really nice for those senior team leaders to actually come to you and say, you're doing an amazing job and this is why, and show you the presentation as to why you deserve that.
But like that is so alien, and that shouldn't be the case.
It shouldn't be, no.
So we were talking earlier about how value is so important to your purpose and why you're working every single day in a role. And without that value, really, what is the point? And I think, as you mentioned, a lot of companies do miss that value point and miss that that's crucial. What's your experience with not feeling that?
Yeah, I just think it doesn't get the best out of you at all. And it comes back to the confidence thing. Like, I've always been a person, since I was tiny at school, like the feedback from my school reporters were always like, oh, Hannah should be more confident. And you can't just go, okay, I'm more confident now.
Yeah,
like, you need to be supported and built up into that space, don't you? And I feel like at KVA, that's really accelerated that for me, like at this last couple of years. But yeah, when you don't have that, it just gives you anxiety, self-doubt, like all of that stuff, which then reflects negatively on not only your working life, but your personal life, and you worry about everything. And it's just like again, promotion-wise, like in the past, I think I've had a couple of promotions where I've not expected it, and it's literally insane. Like I remember going for a coffee with my manager years ago, just for a catch-up one-to-one, and he's like, here's your next promotion.
Aww.
And I was like, what? Like, I had no idea. And that is amazing, because that person recognised me for my work. You know, they got the promotion sorted. I had no idea. And then when you get given that and you're not expecting it, that's amazing. And you think, yeah, it's amazing, well done. But you completely underestimate how much impact that has on you.
Yeah.
Like, it gives you a massive confidence boost. Like, you're so happy that you haven't had to fight tooth and nail for what you deserve.
Which you shouldn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think that's a massive thing, and just for like companies to recognise their employees before they're literally like, come on, and then they start thinking, oh, I'm going to go elsewhere because they don't value me.
Exactly.
So,
And I think it's actually their fault in some ways, because for you to have that confidence that they're demanding, one can only have confidence in a space that they feel safe in. So what is the environment they're making? Because if it was great enough, then that confidence would grow for you naturally. And you need to be in an environment where you know it's okay to fail, because people can only grow and succeed and progress if they fail, because no one is born good at everything first time. So if they don't create that environment for you, it's almost asking the impossible, which is not the best position to be in.
I remember, actually, you jogged a memory. So I remember working on a project with said line manager, and something wasn't 100% correct the first time. And obviously in our line of work, we know that there's like rounds of amends, and like it's a collaborative, like fluid process. And I literally got penalised for the fact that there was a tiny thing that wasn't quite right. And I was like, but this is why we have a process. Like, this is why we all work together. It's not just on one person, it's a team effort. And I think that always sticks in my mind. It was a tiny thing, but
Let me guess, it knocked your confidence?
Yeah.
Shock. But those little things, like tiny things, that was probably like 10 minutes of my day 5 years ago, and that sticks with you. It's always a negative, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always a negative thing.
So tell us your thoughts on the unlimited paid holiday perk that we recently unveiled, and what that means to you, and what a positive impact that will have for you.
I think it's absolutely amazing. Like, I know we've like looked at other companies that have done it, like Virgin, and like they seem to have amazing results, and I have no doubts that it's gonna be awesome. No one's gonna take the piss. Like, we're not like that at all, are we? And I know we've had like people say on LinkedIn, like, oh, what if you fail? But like, positive mindset.
Yeah, I know. What if you don't? That was my answer to that.
Exactly.
What if you don't?
Like, what if you don't?
You know?
And like, more often than not, you won't fail.
Yeah.
And if you do, it's a learning, as you just said.
Exactly.
And never let that hold you back.
No.
Otherwise you will do nothing.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's just like a full circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all about having the courage to take
yeah.
action, I think. It's something that we'd kind of wanted to do for a while.
Yeah.
And I guess from the reading that we'd done, there were companies who have done it before, and it has failed. And especially, you know, if you're not the Netflix size company, then it's very difficult to implement. However, that doesn't mean it's impossible. And I think when you get the right type of team, those people, like you say, with a positive mindset will embrace it and find the positives. And then it's up to us to make sure that everybody, you know, a lot of the negative comments came around, how do you ensure that people take the minimum? No, that's down to us to make sure and to say, make sure you're taking your holiday and pushing it and, you know, doing whatever we can. But actually, it might not be necessarily right for that individual at that particular time to take the holiday then. They might need double the amount of holiday next year because they're going on a, I don't know, Canadian Rockies trip and they're taking a month off to go and do that.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
the key is it's down to them.
Exactly, yeah.
I think we 100%, we know that all of our team respect you guys, and like no one's going to take the piss and just take like 6 months off of the year or whatever. Like people, like the way I see it is that, yeah, I know it's again ingrained in you, isn't it? Like you've had a certain amount of holiday for so many years.
But
so
why?
Like, exactly.
Like if you
Where
actually
does it
ask
come
why,
from?
Where does it come from? I don't know.
what's the point?
And nearly all
Exactly.
employers as well. I had a comment actually on an HR Facebook group yesterday, and nearly all employers offer the legal minimum. And I remember when we were first starting the company up, and I got some advice from the accountant and said we were offering 36 days holiday. And her first thing was, why are you doing that? You don't have to. And it's, you know, we were saying, okay, we know you don't have to, we want to.
Yeah.
And, you know, chatting to in an HR group yesterday, a lot of the comments were around, why don't you just offer more paid holiday as opposed to unlimited? But that for me just seems unusual because we had 36 days. Actually, most years people were struggling to take that time off, and especially over you know, the last year and the conditions we've had, people are struggling. But that doesn't mean to say that they might not need extra time the year after. So it's give and take, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And it makes it more fluid, doesn't it? Like we're not forcing people to take time off and they don't want to.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just the flexibility. Like with me, I'm not going to go take like an extra 2 weeks off. But if I want to, I don't know, go for a spa day with my best friend next month, then I can go, oh yeah, I can just book a day.
Exactly. And it comes down to the trust, doesn't it? I think everything goes back to trust.
Yeah.
We trust the team as adults to take whatever time they want, whenever they need to take it, because we also know that there's a flat hierarchy and trust with one another, that no one will land their teammate in it and leave when they're needed and when a client needs support. There's trust that will happen in the right way. It's trust they'll take it when they need it. And that's why we lift the restrictions. Like, we're all adults.
Yeah.
Why give rules to adults that they don't need to have?
It just comes back to being yourself, doesn't it? And at work or all the time, because you don't have to be like, oh, I need to take this week off this month and this week off next month and blah, blah, blah. It's like, do what you want. Like,
Yeah,
as long as-
freedom.
Do what you want,
it's free.
what you want. Hannah, it's been so refreshing and amazing to hear your thoughts today. Thank you so much for opening up and being honest and real, which is a hard thing to do, but something that's so important to really show to everyone how work can be different and how it doesn't need to be restrictive. You don't need to feel contained within a box or anxious, like you have to be a different version of yourself. And the stories you've told, I'm positive, will empower so many people to lead a much happier and healthier life.
Yeah, absolutely. Just echo everything that Harriet just said. I mean, we've spoken about the difference that confidence makes and being in the right environment to have that confidence built in the first place. And, you know, actually these standard employment norms, they are archaic now. And I think now's our time to encourage other organisations, businesses to make a difference and to rip up this rule book and do things differently, but with a positive intention behind it.
Absolutely. We're blessed to have you at KVA.
Thank you so much,
for joining
Hannah.
us on our sofa series. Thank you.
Thank you.